So we're going to talk about the difference between parallel lines and skew lines, and then we're also going to look at planes that are parallel. So when we talk about something being parallel, we are going to say that two lines are in the same plane, so they would be like on my paper, and they don't intersect. And so you guys have worked with parallel lines since you were little. So these lines, no matter where I'm putting them, are parallel because I could put them in a plane together and they're never going to intersect. So the same concept helps to picture that with planes too. So if I look at plane DEH, DEH is this plane on the left side of the box. So obviously we're familiar enough with prisms to know that the right side of the box is parallel to the left side of the box. So when I go to name the plane that's parallel, these two planes will never intersect. So I'm just going to pick any three letters on this plane. Planes are named with three non-collinear points. So they chose D, E, and H. You could choose whatever you want for yours. I'm just going to pick 3 points on this, so I'm going to do plane C, G, F. You could say C, B, G, you could say F, C, G. Just pick 3 points on that plane. Okay, now I'm going to pick out segments that are parallel to AB. So I'm going to go into my picture and I'm going to highlight AB. So I'm looking for all segments that are coplanar with AB, and that means that they could be in the same plane, so they're going the same direction, and they're never going to intersect. So when I look at EF, EF is in the same plane, and it's never going to intersect. So EF is a parallel segment to AB. Then I'm going to look at HG. Now, even though you don't see a plane there, if I go diagonally through the box, there is a plane that contains both of those. So HG is also on the list of parallel segments. And then finally, DC over here is in the same plane as AB, so it's coplanar, and they will never intersect, so DC will be listed as well. Those are the 3 segments that are parallel to AB. Okay, now we're going to do segments that intersect. This one's very easy. So we're looking for things that touch GH. So I'm going to highlight GH, and we're going to name all the segments that actually intersect or touch GH. So segment FG touches GH, segment EH, and then if you look down here, segment CG will touch it, and so will segment DH. Notice that either G or H is present in any of these answers that we have because they're all touching GH in some way, so they'll all have a G or an H. Okay, so the last thing I want to teach you is this new concept called skew. You guys probably haven't dealt with skew before. So I want to show you what skew is visually. So if these lines are parallel, as soon as I turn one this direction, this is considered skew. So skew lines are like parallel lines because they don't intersect, but skew lines are non-coplanar. So these are on different planes because they're going different directions. Parallel lines are in the same plane. So skew lines, when you fill in your definition on your vocab, skew lines don't intersect. So that's how they're like parallel. But number 2, they are non-coplanar. They don't sit in the same plane. Okay, so we're going to go find segment CD, and we're going to look for all the segments that are non-coplanar but won't touch. Okay, so let me go through and highlight everything that would be skew to CD. All right, I'm going to highlight these in orange. That segment, BF, will never touch CD, and it's going a different direction, so these are on different planes. This segment, EA, will also not touch DC. So EA is non-coplanar with DC, and it will never intersect. Okay, another one would be FG. So if you look at FG, FG and DC will never touch, and they're not in the same plane. And then finally, you've got a fourth one, which would be EH. EH is not going to touch DC, and it's not in the same plane, meaning it's going a different direction. So that's the difference between skew lines and parallel lines.